And it doesn't seem to be any easy fix. Now let's go to the politics of it real quick. It appears to me that based on everything they've said and all their actions, that the Senate is willing to ram this through with reconciliation, which sounds like a nice term, sounds friendly. Obama's using reconciliation, but you know what it means: 20 hours of debate. Then it's cut off. You don't need 60 votes to cut off debate, and then they vote.
Yeah.
And all they'll need is 51 votes, not 60, which they could never get. And that's never been used for something of this magnitude. It wasn't intended for something of this magnitude.
So reconciliation, this term, what does it mean? It means exactly that. It's a legal term. You can do it. And who decides? I decide as majority leader.
Harry Reid.
Harry Reid.
God help us.
Now, it does limit debate to 20 hours. The most largest, most comprehensive, most complicated bill, which nobody will have read, will have no debate on it except for 20 hours and then a vote up or down. The American people aren't going to tolerate that. Number two, it lowers the threshold from 60 votes to 50 votes, something that is never done on substantive legislation. Now, a little transition. The book that I have out today called A Heart to Serve, the reason I'm bringing it up, and it's released today, it's not a political memoir. Basically, it is a book written on experiences in healthcare, being a doctor, in global health, and being a United States Senator, written to really talk about how we can all serve in our own lives, with a lot of sort of very personal stories. I bring it up now because in that book, and this obviously I had to write it 6 months ago, in that book, my warning was do not, as we look at healthcare legislation, President Obama and Harry Reid, do not use reconciliation. If you send a signal that you're going to use reconciliation, which unfortunately they did about 3 months ago, it means that I'm not going to listen to the centrist Democrats. I'm not going to listen to the Jim Coopers and the Blue Dog Democrats that are out there. I'm not going to listen to Republicans because at the end of the day, I don't need you, because with 50 votes, you don't. So don't do that. Unfortunately, that is the signal that continues to be sent. Let me just contrast and I'll be quiet.
No.
6 years ago. 6 years ago. Yeah. So what is this reconciliation? Well, you used it, Frist, before. I've used reconciliation.
Budgetary.
For budgetary. Yeah. You know this stuff. How do you know this stuff?
I know some stuff.
You do know this stuff. In New York City, in Washington, but not many people know that. It's budgetary stuff. And so I did use it for tax cuts and all. For substantive policy issues, it is never used. It is never used because it means we're going to basically exclude half of the American people in society. And in 2003, when I passed the prescription drug bill, controversial bill, ended up being a great bill, very popular, ended up cutting costs to the spending curve over time. Everybody likes it now. But at the time, everybody hated it, both Republicans and Democrats. Not everybody, but a lot of people did. But I basically said up front, months in advance, I, as majority leader, and that's who decides, am not going to use reconciliation for the very reasons we're talking about today.
Right.
And that's why subsequently people came around, and as the program proved itself, if a bill will pass in December, by the way, right now, and if it passes with no bipartisan support through reconciliation, I'll guarantee you, not just the elections, but the year of implementation after that, 2 years of implementation, and 3 years are going to be very, very, very tough, because the American people are going to resent this thing being crammed down.
I know. I just hope it's reversible after it's done. We're talking to Senator James Inhofe of Oklahoma here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Let me ask you this. What is the prognosis here? I mean, give us I was hoping the good news was going to be this has no shot in heck of passing.
Well, it's not going to. It's not going to pass. They don't have the votes.
Could they do reconciliation on this like they're going to do with health care?
Well, I think they're going to have a hard time doing reconciliation, because that would be the first time on a major tax bill that's been done in our nation's history. And I don't think that Harry Reid really wants to do that. Yes, they talked about it. I think that's a threat.
You mean for health care or for this bill?
No, I'm talking about this bill.
Yeah. What about health care? They're going to do it there, though.
They could. Of course, I don't think they got the votes for that either. I don't have the count on that, because it's a moving target. There's so many different health bills out there, and you have Baucus, and you have, all of them. And so I don't really know.
Now, what's the count on the cap and trade?
In my opinion, they only have 30 votes and they need 60.
Wow.